It takes someone with incredible mind-reading skills to understand the female mind successfully and to know what it is she really wants. However, when it comes to attraction, both men and women naturally revert to primal behavioral patterns. And this is why we can easily understand when a woman is attracted to us. The big problem which arises is generally because men are ignorant, and through the last few decades, men have also lost the ability to detect that a woman wants them. Today, we end these passive-aggressive standoffs and focus on the 10 strongest signs that a woman is sexually attracted to you and what exactly it is that she'll be doing. The modern trend of playing down feelings. One of the newer trends that have significantly made an impact in the last few decades is the inability of people to actually share their feelings. Nowadays, it can feel like you need to pull feelings from someone for them to actually make sense, and this is perhaps one of the toughest things for humans to understand. Why is it tough to draw out feelings from someone? Well, this is due to a combination of people, especially younger individuals, feeling that it's cool to keep their feelings to themselves. Or some people have been hurt to such a degree that they simply don't trust anyone. On the other hand, many men have become completely oblivious and complacent when it comes to understanding emotional concepts. But let's face it from a male perspective, and you can easily see why it's become such a problem. Life is the answer, and no matter where you look around you, people are always busy, or they might be on the move, or they might have something important that needs to be done. You see, humanity has moved into a mindset of survival, and this means that the need for spotting psychologically important factors is something no one does. With all these issues in life, humans are still the same when you look at their core nature and how they operate in life. Humans are designed to crave certain things, and they also show some signs that cannot be changed. It's only the skill of others to notice these signs and latch onto them that have diminished. You should also note that with the advent of social media, women now have a vast selection of men at their disposal, and this is something that completely changes the game. If you happen to meet a woman and spend time together, but nothing happens, she can just move on to the next date and something will happen, whilst you are passively waiting for her to tell you how she feels. Well, it's time for this to stop. And in this video, we explore 10 of the most powerful signs that you should look for to ensure that you know if a woman's interested in you. Once you manage to spot some of these signs, your success rate with women will naturally increase as well. Let's dive in. Number 1. She communicates with you frequently. Let's face it, the world has gone from in-person contact to calling each other on the phone to now simply shooting a quick text message to someone. You see, text messaging is that much easier, and it's now one of the primary forms of communication that even you are probably using a lot. However, the days of being glued to our mobile devices have long since dissipated, especially if it's to deal with text messages. Life is simply too busy, and everyone's looking to survive. This means that when a woman's willing to sacrifice some of her own happiness and her own situation to message you, she definitely has an interest in you. You should also note how she communicates with you, and since women tend to lift the tone of their voice around men they like, they'll compensate for this via text messaging by using emojis, which should bring out some of her facial expressions. Naturally, the progression from these frequent text messages will lead to flirting via text messages, and this is what you're hoping for. Once you flirt with one another, it's very easy for the conversation to naturally turn into something more sexual, which will be a clear sign that she's interested in you and also leads to the next one. Number 2. Texting becomes a little dirty. Whilst flirting is probably best done in person, it's something that often takes time, and there's a real reason why flirting via text messages is slowly dying down. However, it's also considered a safe space, which means that when you flirt with someone and the reciprocation is not that high, being rejected is not as bad over the phone. So, what you can naturally expect is that a woman will want to flirt with you via text messaging, and once you notice this happening, she's inviting you to make the move in person. Yes, it's kind of sad that things have to start over the phone, but let's face it, most people meet each other via dating sites like Tinder and Hinge, instead of doing so at a bar. The next part of your plan should be to turn the fantasy from the phone into some kind of reality. And this will involve making actual plans to meet each other. Once you meet each other or go on another date, if you've met in person, you can continue with this flirting to see how she'll naturally react, and it'll show you if she's ready for something. Ideally, you want to focus on building what we call sexual tension. This is when there's a little tension caused by frustration between two people, and the only way to alleviate this is to break the tension with certain acts. Women revel in the fact that sexual tension has been established, and when you do so over the phone, it's often much easier to continue rolling with it in person. Ideally, you want to make sure that you know exactly what it is that you need to do and how to go about flirting in person. We have created a plethora of other videos on the subject of flirting and turning a woman on. Make sure to check out these videos, and you'll have even better results with flirting via text messaging or in person to build that sexual tension. Number 3. It's easy to make her laugh. Now, some people are just naturally funny, and it's often through the way they carry themselves and even speak that people tend to laugh uncontrollably around them. However, when you and a new woman have just started talking, the laugh can be a little awkward, and she'll also want to refrain from this as she gets to know you. However, if she's always smiling or happy around you, it's already one of the most powerful signs of interest. However, if you can continually get her laughing, it's even better. You see, women naturally love a guy who can make them laugh, and this allows them to break free from the monotony of everyday life, which helps them to be in a better mood. While many of you might argue that getting a woman to laugh is not that big of a deal, you'll realize just how hard this exercise can be for the average person. Yes, the occasional insulting compliment will naturally work, but this is a big risk. Either it can build some incredible sexual tension, or it will naturally just be rejected. So, if you find that it's easy for you to make a woman, or any other person for that matter, laugh a lot, you have a shoe-in with them. You should note that people generally laugh at the jokes of their mates because they trust them and understand each other. So, as weird as this one might seem, making a woman laugh is incredibly powerful. Number 4. Intense eye contact is common. Once you get a woman to laugh, you've already made massive strides compared to other men around you. This will generally be followed by some decent eye contact between the two of you. Now, don't get me wrong, as eye contact is not only something that happens when the two of you are seated over one another and talking. Intense eye contact can happen almost immediately upon meeting someone. The reason for this is that it's natural for one person to want to continuously look at another person they like or find attractive. Due to this, you'll find that when you're out and about with your mates and a woman likes you, you will generally find her glancing in your direction quite frequently. Intense eye contact is incredibly powerful, and it's one of the most important signs of knowing whether a woman likes you or not. But there is a caveat. Number 5. She submits to you. Whilst submission is one of the final stages before you actually reach intimacy, it's also something that can happen rather quickly in your encounter. You see, a woman is designed to naturally submit to a man who she thinks is powerful enough to lead her and her family. So, whilst you might find that there's a ton of eye contact initially, she'll eventually begin to look down or in a different direction. This is because she feels somewhat intimidated by the fact that she likes you and you've become like an alpha male toward her. Any signs of submission are incredibly powerful if you want to know whether a woman is sexually attracted to you or not. However, the submission is something that should come naturally, and you should not be the one forcing this onto her. Unfortunately, many men play emotional games in the hopes of seeking submission, but she might just choose to walk away. Number 6. She speaks about you in the future tense. Another truly powerful sign of sexual interest can also be easily revealed through communication. You see, we rarely speak about others in the future tense, and the reason for this is because no one wants to give someone else an idea that they're interested in. However, what you will find from an interested woman is that she'll have no issue talking to you in the future tense. In fact, she's likely to make plans and even invite you to specific events that might be happening down the line. Once you become an important part of her future plans, she has literally backed herself into a corner, and it becomes that much easier for you to actually build a powerful connection and something that could perhaps lead to future success in the relationship. we would recommend that you capitalize on anything about the future that you come across, and if you happen to get integrated into these plans, you should have free reign when it comes to creating a powerful connection and having some more relationship success. Number 7. Physical contact will linger. The next logical step for any relationship heading toward a sexual encounter is the need for actual physical contact to happen. Now, it's up to the man to initiate this type of contact and to make sure that he can create this kind of engagement that will naturally turn a woman on. However, many modern women are also willing to make the move themselves, and this is when they'll make physical contact to help spur you on and push the relationship into a direction that they feel very comfortable with. If you happen to be the one making the first move to establish physical contact, you need to make sure that you're conscious of how it's impacting her. Many women will naturally pull away when you make contact, but if she's willing to let the physical contact linger, it's one of the most powerful signs that she might be interested in you. The longer she allows you to touch her, the more she will naturally be interested in you. And you must realize this to make sure that you also understand exactly how far she's willing to go. We would recommend pushing the envelope as well, which allows you to see how far you can go when touching her. Number 8. She's constantly close to you. Another sign of attraction from a woman is when she's always trying to occupy the space around you. You see, it's natural for humans to be as close as they possibly can be to the people they're attracted to. And if you can get her to be as close to you as possible, it's much easier to ensure that the relationship will move in a positive direction. What do we mean by this? Well, whenever the two of you are out at a social gathering or event, she'll want to be as close to you as possible. In fact, she might even squeeze herself into some of the most uncomfortable positions just to be as close to you as she possibly can. The main reason for this is because she trusts you, and when you can get a woman to fully trust you, it becomes a highly important part of the game, and this means that she'll not only trust you when you go out, but also with her body. This sign also goes hand in hand with the many others that include her frequently touching you and allowing your touches to linger. Make sure you capitalize on this for the best possible success. Number 9. She reveals her emotions. What is the biggest vulnerability someone can show you? Well, for many, it's their emotions. You see, the moment someone has allowed you into their emotional life, it's very hard for you to get out, and women want to only share their emotions with those they trust. Keep in mind that it's rather crucial that she's the first one to reveal her emotions, and that whenever you get her to reveal her emotions, you can slowly add in a couple of your own. However, you should bear in mind that revealing your own emotions is an easy way to show her that you're weak. Be careful. Now, if she happens to reveal some of the emotions toward you, she is clearly very interested, and this will ensure that there is adequate attraction between you as well. However, you should respect these emotions and not try to use them for your own gain and cause her some pain or suffering in the process. Number 10. She discusses sexual topics with you. Finally, you'll notice that sexual topics are rather taboo when it comes to modern dating, and with so many women believing that it's a sign of disrespect, it's something that very few people actually do nowadays. However, there is always this burning need to discuss these kinds of things, and you'll notice that women also continuously think about these things. The only difference is you don't know about it, and you're unwilling to directly ask about them. But if she opens up to you about any kind of sexual topic, including her past, your past, or even some of her own fantasies, it's one of the most powerful signs that she is, in fact, sexually attracted to you. Nothing is more satisfying than knowing the girl you like is actually sexually attracted to you. However, you need to make sure you're the kind of person who she wants to be attracted to. Make sure to check out these next videos if you want to make sure that you can become the kind of man women like.